screen here, but just in case, you can go ahead and cover up your camera if you want to make sure you're not seen. Otherwise, there we go, fair warning. My name is Ginger Lewman, and I work on the ESSDACK resilience team as one of the members. My honor and privilege is to be able to travel across Kansas, but also into other states, and from time to time, actually, even into other countries, helping teachers and communities outside of schools rethink what teaching and learning can be in today's modern world. So when we are in this virtual world, this is my wheelhouse. Welcome. This is where I've been wanting to live for the past 10 years, and I'm glad you guys are here under wishes better circumstances. However, in the bottom left-hand corner, this is me on social media. I may not yet have earned the right for you to care that this is me, but maybe by the end of this, you'll think that crazy lady's got something to share, and you can connect with me there if you would like to. I'm the only Ginger Lewman in the world as far as I can tell. So, Caremitment is a word that I have invented. I haven't seen it anywhere else, and I did do a search on it. It's a funny word, and those of you who are English people who really care about like spelling of things, you'll be like, it should be 2 M's because community and commitment have 2 M's and 1 T. Get over yourself. It's my word. It just feels better, Caremitment. And it's making a commitment to our community for self-care. And I have a little asterisk there on self-care because we at ESSDACK have a very strong belief that what we've been told about self-care is a lie and it's impossible. I'll get to that in a minute. So, but first, we need to play. You want to play? I want to play. So here we go. We are, and Glenn, did I say we were going to go into breakout rooms for this? Did I give you a heads up on that one or did I not? I didn't, did I? I said it was in my last session, didn't I? Thinking about time, and because we started so late, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask you to imagine in your next staff meeting, virtual or otherwise, what would happen if you started out your staff meeting with a scavenger hunt? I get it. I get it. We don't have time for scavenger hunts. We are meeting as a staff. Time is, we got to go, 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 right? And that's the exact opposite of self-care and community care. We've got to be with one another in ways that are relaxing and fun. So if you were, I have done this now with several hundred teachers. Where I've said, right now, I'm going to put you in groups of 4, and here's a list of topics. I give them the topics. It saves time. I said, if you want to put another one in there, go ahead. But pick, in your groups of 4, you're going to pick a topic, and then you're going to come up with 10 to 20 objects that could be hunted, right? So in virtual world, they could be hunted online or physically gathered. That you're going to plan the scavenger hunt. You're not actually going to do the scavenger hunt. And you know what I notice? I give people usually about 10 minutes to do that. They're like, 10 minutes? I'm like, get on it. In 5 minutes, they're usually finished. 5 minutes at the beginning of a staff meeting, as we start to work in groups and we start thinking about what could we gather, I notice every single time, hundreds of teachers I've done this with, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're learning stuff about each other that they may not have known about. Like for instance, people who know me in real life would never guess that I know a whole lot about farming and ranching. They would never guess that. But I do, because that's where I grew up, right? I grew up in very small communities. It wasn't until I was a junior in high school until I moved to a larger town. And so it's an interesting way to connect with people. A scavenger hunt is super quick and easy. Would you drop into your chat if you think that might be interesting? I know we're feeling the pressure of getting things done right now and using our time very wisely and efficiently, but sometimes efficient is at the sacrifice of connection. And if the one thing we need right now is connection, we will never be as efficient as we possibly can be without that. So if this is interesting, put a yes in there. I want to see people starting to use the chat. Love it. Okay. By the way, you don't have to use these topics. Make up your own stuff. I just want something that's generic that almost everybody can pick from. So I almost always have somebody just pick sports. They're like, we don't like any of those. We're doing sports. I'm like, go on with your bad self. Go. So change is hard. And we are in charge and trying to change right now. And we are feeling that stress. So I want us today in this session, as well as in your lives, with your family, with your extended family, with your colleagues, with your clients, with your students, how do we start to bring in some fun ways to regularly and intentionally build that foundation of resilience with games, fun challenges. I know I'm reading this to you. I don't normally read slides, but there's so many different components to this. Feel free to grab a screenshot of this right now, right? This is the thing that we're trying to answer. Let's figure that out. And most importantly, for that deeper peer connection. That's what this is about. So here we go. What we don't do is we don't say, we're all friends through an email or memo, do we? We actually have to get a little messy and get a little bit of something on each other. And sometimes it's tears, and in real life, sometimes it's snot, and sometimes it's laughter, right? So it's important. You know what I'm showing you here, right? If you do, type it in there, type it in. You know what I'm showing you. What's the phrase that we always say? Type it in super fast. I want to see who can do it first. Go. Yes. Robin, you were fast. You didn't type the whole thing. That's okay. Somebody else may have a better answer. Put it in there. Robin jumped in super fast. That's an oxygen mask, right? That's a flight attendant. If we don't put the oxygen masks on ourselves first, we won't be able to help another person. If we don't take care of ourselves first, and we're just busy giving to everyone else, eventually we're going to pass out with lack of oxygen, right? We must take care of ourselves. We must take care of our resilience. So what is resilience? We talk about it. Do we know what it is? When things start to go wonky, it's where we can get our feet back under us and go. And if we're already off kilter for whatever reason, it's hard to get our feet back underneath us. Some of it's because we've got things going hard in our families. Something would happen at work, something health-wise, something, who knows? There's a million different reasons that we might be dysregulated. And so resilience looks different in each people. Is how do we start to build this? That's the good news, is that we can build this capacity in one another and in ourselves. It doesn't have to always be wonky. Why? I'm not going to ask that question. We know why. How's the question is what we need to know, right? What it's about. It's these things, guys. It's shared spaces. I know that before our current situation, I would hear on at least a weekly basis that technology is disconnecting us. Folks, is that true? Tell me right now, today, do we still believe that technology distances us? Because I'm going to tell you what, I live 10 hours in my basement in a house by myself with no pets. Technology is my only connection to people. And it really may have been for years, right? That it has connected me with people across the United States in ways that I've never met them face to face, but I know them, I love them, and when we do get a chance to meet at a conference, we're fast friends. We get through all the little stuff. It's about connection, and we can still do this today. And if we can be face to face, it's so much better, right? So much better. And it's about vulnerability. Loving each other with courage. Okay, so we say these things all the time, right? What about that colleague? You know what I'm talking about. That person you work with where you're like, are you kidding me? That person? What is that? There's a quote down there at the bottom. It's Abe Lincoln, and I think he really did say this. I don't think he's just attributed. I do not like that man. I must endeavor to get to know him better. It says a lot, doesn't it? Because a lot of times in our communities, we are all about loving one another, except for that family. That family's fill in the blank with whatever you wanted. That guy, no, him too, her too, especially them, because they're probably the least connected. That one that's a pain in your butt needs us. Right? I told you self-care is a lie, right? I don't know that anybody else on the ESSDACK team says that self-care is a lie. I don't think they're as bold as I am. It's not really a lie. It's not a full lie. You know, I'm going to say it though. We don't believe in self-care, because here's the truth. I want you to put an X or something in the chat if this is true for you. So get ready. If in the past 1 year you have ever put off making a doctor's appointment for yourself, put an X in the chat. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that is the most basic form of self-care, is going to see a daggum doctor. But we put it off. We put it off because we're fill in the blank with a million other reasons that's not about us. It's a lie. And we tell ourselves, every single one of you who has that X in there, I know you know about self-care. You know about it, but we don't practice it because you know why? Self-care is disconnected from others. So we believe in CoCare. I'm not going to take care of myself. That's selfish. But I'll take care of Stacy. I'll help make sure she's okay. And you know what Stacy's going to do? She's going to take care of Glenn. You know what Glenn's going to do? He's going to take care of somebody else. And so it's going to come back around to me. We will take care of one another, won't we? So how do we as a community intentionally build CoCare? So this is what I ask myself. And I've been working with schools and teachers and say, I've been in some hard schools that work with super hard kids. And the staff is, they're just dysregulated as the students are, because they're working and living in that trauma as well. So we get in and we start thinking about how do we talk about and practice self-care. Self-care is a whole lot more than bubble baths and chocolates, y'all. I'm just saying that. You know that, right? Although that's what we see on our Instagram accounts a lot. It's learning how to say no. That's CoCare. Do you help your colleagues learn how to say no? I'm really bad at saying no, but I can help Stacy say no. She can also prod me to help me say no, because we look out for one another. That compassion fatigue is real. All of these pieces are pieces of CoCare that we want to be doing intentional things with. Look at that, time management. Okay, so in working with schools and communities, I tell them this. I show that we brainstorm examples. I say, here we go. We've got these lists. You guys came up with what you can do. Awesome. When I come back next month, make a calendar. I want to see it going. I came back next month. Did I see the calendar? Yes or no? The answer is no. Because when I left, their whirlwind took back over and they were overwhelmed. So I said, I got to build this for people because they're too busy to build it for themselves. So how do I build it for them? And that's what I did. Is I built a CoCare calendar, literally a physical calendar. And it runs because people don't have time to get a new calendar every single year. If you're like me, I still have, just yesterday, I flipped over 2 months because calendars, whatever. And so what this is on the inside, this is from November 2019. It has a 1 and a 30 here. That's the first of the month. That's the last of the month. I don't write anything else in there. I don't care about the rest of the stuff. You can use it as real calendar if you want. This is about you and me and my community connecting. So I'll be the person in my community, or I'll have a team of people with a CoCare team, right? And over here on the side is different inspiration. So begin each day of the week with a positive intention, or find or make a fun playlist. So I'm going to, number 1, we're going to put number 1 in this one, and we're going to put number 3 this week, and we're going to put a number 4 in this week. You notice this is blue, these are red, and this is blue. That's because this actually will already have a number in it from last month, right? Because that week's still happening. This is the first. This will run into next week. If this is interesting to you, say, yes, this is interesting. Drop that in there. Will I provide the slides later? We will absolutely have recordings of this, and the slides, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll have to find out for sure. But I'm going to give you access to all this information I'm giving right now. Yeah, we can zoom in so you can see what some of these things are. I've got links in here that you just type in, find or make a fun playlist that makes you want to shake your booty. See, these should be very short. They should be very easy, and people should have choice. So I might say, actually, let's do 1 and 4 on this week. And guys, you can make a choice. Which one do you want to do? You can choose. Yes. And so what I did at our office is I created, because this calendar is great, if I'm the only one who sees it, it's on my desk, I wanted everybody to see it. And I wanted to create a little scorecard to see if we are practicing self-care. Not a scorecard to see if winners or losers, not to hold people accountable by name, just to see if we could work together. So I actually have one on the wall in my office here now downstairs. And so on November 28th, these are our 2 options. You can choose the red or the blue option. I email it out to people. Stacy, Glenn, you get those, right? Thumbs up if you do, right? And they get to choose which one they want to do. And when they have completed that one, see how light they are? They're very lightweight. Once they've completed it, they then grab a little ring. You know these rings? These rings are just made out of, you know, when people go to bars. I mean, I've never been to a bar in my life. And you know, you get those, or maybe you've been to a festival, or you get rides at the fairgrounds. You get a little ring that says that you are you're okay or whatever. That's what these are. We ordered them off Amazon. And by we, I mean Stacy did, thank you. And if they did the red challenge, they put up a red ring. If it's a blue, they put up the blue. And I'm not counting people. I'm counting, are we creating a chain of co-care together? And if I notice that 1 week is short, ooh, we got staff that's stressed. They didn't have time for it. And the next week is short, then we as leadership know that we need to jump in and do some things and talk to people more intentionally. If this is interesting, say yes. Love that. It's so easy to put up. It doesn't cost much. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed here, oh, there's a little link right up there that you can barely see. Let me make that easier for you right there. If you type in that, yes, and maybe Stacy, you can type it into the chat for us. That will send you to a PDF of all of those challenges. You don't have to buy a calendar. You don't have to, it's all right there. But you know what I found? Is I wrote blog posts, I handed these lists to people, and they still didn't do it. It's when they have that calendar that makes a difference. But I'm gonna hand it to you right now. Use it. Use it. Send it out with the email. It's a great thing to do. If you want the calendar, jump over here, and that's this link if you want to. It's like a $15 calendar, but it goes till June 21st. June 2021, I mean to say. You know that I'm not good with dates, right? Oh gosh, Stacy, I'm having you jump in. How are we doing on time? We just have about 8 more minutes left, yeah, right?
Yes.
Excellent. So I want to move past this. How do we also, besides just the self-care, co-care sort of work, how else can we do this? I'd say a scavenger hunt at the beginning of the session here. I talked about scavenger hunt. If you ever went to a camp before, like a church camp or a Girl Scout camp or a 4-H camp, you know you have in your back pocket, if you think back a few years, a bunch of silly camp games that you used to play. What are those? If you can't remember, you didn't ever go to a camp, go to Google and type in silly camp games or Girl Scout camp games or Boy Scout camp games, and you're going to come up with a whole list of just silly, fun, easy, short games that you can play with your staff. Potlucks. Maybe in time of pandemic, that's not a great idea, but and plus I've also seen pictures of people's kitchens. I don't think about that with my staff with potlucks. I just try to make sure it feels hot, good. But potlucks are a great way to get to learn more about people and just come together over food and fellowship. Food is a great way to bring people together. Girls' nights, men's days, I don't know why it's nights and days, make it however you need to, but just get together how you want. My school and my staff, when I was running the school, we had executive meetings. On a particularly stressful week, I would walk into teachers' classrooms, I'd be like, executive meeting tonight, 7 p.m., get there, be there. And they were like, got you. And of course it's middle school. So I've got some students who are like, we'll be there. And I'm like, you don't know what it is and you're not invited. And then so we would meet at some restaurant in town and we would just hang out and not talk about school, or we would talk about school. It's okay, we're just together. And that's what matters in stressful times. What else? I want to pause here for a second. You guys have already been putting in some really great thoughts into the chat. Stephanie, our principal, has started potlucks. Really, they are. And there are so many ideas for different themes of potlucks. I'm all about that. We were, in fact, right before we shut our offices down, then like 4 days afterward, we had a soup potluck that we were going to put together. People were going to make all different types of soup and come in. And competition, if you want to, with some of it. There was when was it, Stacy, Glenn, that we did a chili contest? There was some holiday. I don't know what it was. Stacy?
Christmas, maybe?
Christmas. Yeah, Christmas party.
Okay. Oh yeah, because I came in late. Y'all were in there opening gifts, and I just took pictures. Yeah, that's right. I was at a school or something. So these are really great. Look at these ideas here. BYOB night, sure. Before holidays or breaks, we have grazing. Yes, all day. Oh, those are so good with the vegetables and snack crackers and things. I always bring stuff that I want to eat. I don't know about y'all. I used to have to eat at my aunt's house. She would like host holidays, and my husband and I would be like, we're going to Anne's house. And if you guys know her, I'm so sorry. If you know me and personally, I'm just saying this out loud. We would say, let's take 2 or 3 dishes and make sure we know what your mom made, and we'll just eat off those. It's okay to do that if you want to. It's not about the food. It's about the people. It's about the connecting. But the food's good too, if you ask me. Essential oil make and takes, sure. Carmen has been doing some making like quotable things. When we get back into the main room, or you go to Rebecca's space, behind her is a quote on a piece of wood they made in one of her sessions. It's super fun. Funny Facebook games. Yes, yes, for sure. Voxer back and forth. These are big deals. And you guys are so smart about that. I want to close up with a little video here. I hope this thing works, but you've seen this before, right? You've seen this? You know what this is. Women in the room, that some I oftentimes have to show dudes what this is, but women know. So here we go. So you may have seen these before, cootie catchers. This is what we're going to call a CoCare catcher. Very similar. If you would please pick a color. Oh, you picked orange? Good. O-R-A-N-G-E. Oh, good. Pick a number. We have 3, 4, 8, or 7. Oh, you picked 3. Good. 1, 2, 3. And pick a number. 1, 2, 5, or 6. Oh, you picked 5. Very good. And so underneath 5, we open it up and we can see in here that your challenge would be to clean out a desk drawer sometime by the end of the week. Yay! So you can play this little game in like a little CoCare. Just run around, but each one of these down here is set up to either give some mindfulness time or time management or some self-care time. So one is compliment yourself, compliment a friend, breathe for 3 minutes, make it meditate, dance to one song, clean out a desk drawer, sit, what does it say? Oh, set a dinner date for someone, say no one time to something, pick a healthy lunch or pack a healthy lunch, and compliment yourself. So most of these would be challenging someone to do this by the end of the day, maybe by the clean out a desk drawer, do by the end of the week. Anyway, run it how you want to, put your own CoCare in there, and it might be a fun thing to do with staff. If you were doing this with students, what would be on the inside? I like to have these at the beginning of meetings or at the beginning of a workshop or something, and it's very casual. Just walk around and say, hey, pick a color, and then challenge people to do it. Again, did you notice how long do those take? One is breathe for 3 minutes. We don't think about it until we take that 3 minutes, and we feel different afterwards. It matters. Pull right now, by the way, right now, you guys, everybody, pull your shoulders down from your ears. Pull your shoulders down from your ears, because they get up that way, don't they? Don't they? Guys, again, all this Caremitment, to make a commitment to CoCare, it's about our connection. It's about sharing space, about making time, about building our why. It's about being vulnerable and about loving each of us with courage. It's hard to do. It's hard, but it's important. Folks, this is me. I appreciate you being in this room. I want to share with you some other pieces here before we get out of here. If you want to know more, and if you want to ask, again, all those sessions are recorded. You're going to have access to them if you registered, and if you're here, you've registered, so you'll get some follow-up emails. But if you want to connect with us right now, you can connect with us on Facebook. That's where I am a lot. Stacy's dropping in the links right there to our web page if you want to know more about some of the work that we do. It's big stuff there. And also our dates for other opportunities to learn with us. Resilience Now is a virtual conference we've got coming up that is all ESSDACKs, and we're opening it up to a lot of folks. It's going to be a big, big thing. Equipping resilience coaches. If you want to have a coach be able to help with your clients and your other staff to be a coach to help build resilience across the board, we have a whole online course that starts that. And then Family, Schools, and Peace Initiative. This is for everyone. And it's a partnership that we've done with the Family Peace Initiative out of Topeka. And it is, I don't say this lightly, it is life-changing.